Last week, while KCPT was hosting its winter membership drive, an insurance marketing company was receiving $5 million in incentives to move 1 mile from Kansas City, Missouri, across the border to Leawood, Kansas, the latest in a series of business moves that has raised questions about the economic impact on both states. SelectQuote plans to consolidate its Kansas City area call center operations by moving about 150 employees from its current facility at 92nd and Ward Parkway to 89th Street and State Line Road in Leawood. Kansas Commerce Secretary Pat George said in a statement, having a respected company such as SelectQuote invest in our state is a great thing for Kansas. But Kansas City Civic leader Bill Hall, president of the Hall Family Foundation, says it's just another business move that has cost the state tens of millions of dollars in lost tax revenues without helping the overall economy in either state. Now, there's also an ad campaign running currently, even from Kansas City interests, alarmed by what's happening. But is any of this having any effect, Dave?
It may have some effect in Missouri. I do think that there will be a push in the next session of the legislature to try and match some of the tax incentives that Kansas has provided for some of these companies. And there is pressure, as you note, for the more broad-based, exempting LLCs from any income taxes, or to get close to matching that in Missouri. That's the law that takes effect in Kansas under Governor Brownback. But at the same time, both states, as they always do, face enormous fiscal pressures. Kansas has a huge shortfall. Missouri isn't exactly flush with cash. The idea of continuing to incent businesses to, in essence, move 50 yards down the road across an artificial barrier is meeting with increasing skepticism both, in both states, Nick, but nationally. And so there may be a pushback against any idea to provide more incentives to businesses on either side of the state line. It's quite up in the air.
But it keeps happening, and yet nothing really occurs, does it? There's no stalemate. There's no ceasefire that occurs.
No, because Kansas has upfront cash. They have deal-closing funds that Missouri doesn't have. And this is not happening on the other side of the state. Businesses are not leaving St. Louis to go to East St. Louis, and so it strictly is a regional thing. And the mayor hasn't gotten a lot of love from the legislature. Governor Brownback obviously wants to be able to beat the drum for Kansas jobs, so I don't see this issue going away anytime soon.
I don't either, because the most important word in American politics today, Nick, is jobs. And when Governor Brownback can brag that he's attracted jobs, when Governor Nixon can say he's brought jobs to Missouri, that's the currency, the most important currency in politics today. That's why this situation isn't going away.
Well, sometimes, though, it's neighboring cities that are cannibalizing each other. You can remove completely the state line. Take the case of the city of Mission, Kansas, and the city of Roland Park next door. To build its Mission Gateway project on the site of the former Mission Mall, which was supposed to include an aquarium and a hotel, neither of which are now happening, the anchor tenant of the new development is going to be, guess what, a Walmart store. But in deciding to move there, Walmart is closing its store in Roland Park, just 1 mile up the road, as the biggest source of sales tax revenue in Roland Park at $700,000 a year. The mayor of Roland Park says the city may now have to lay off the entire police department. Well, with a $1.4 million budget that it cost to have that police department, and $700,000 of it generated from that Walmart store, the biggest retailer in town, that's what the mayor of Roland Park says they may have to do. Really, Dave?
It's a huge hit. I think they're talking about using, Nick, the sheriff's department to provide law enforcement services in that community. We don't know for sure if it's going to come to this, but Roland Park has some extraordinarily difficult issues to face because of this movement.
But this has nothing to do, again, with Kansas versus Missouri.
But this has been a story in the Kansas City area for the 30 years I've worked here, and that is communities, both intra and interstate, offering the store to lure jobs and economic development, often at the expense of other communities. TIF, in some ways, creates what's called the substitution effect, which in essence incents a store to move to, say, Raytown or Kansas City, Missouri, whatever, at the expense of other retailers in other states, depressing sales tax. The competition, I remember doing a panel discussion on this very issue in 1995. So it isn't as if, this is incredibly important because of the money involved relative to budgets, But this battle between cities has been going on in our community almost as long as I've been a reporter here.
But you were a high school debater at the time.
No, I was a little bit older than that.
Steve.
Well, just consider the stats that Bill Hall keeps here. In recent years, since 2009, Kansas has attracted 3,000 jobs from Missouri. Missouri has attracted 2,500 jobs from Kansas. That's a net change of $500. They've spent almost $200 million in economic incentives for that net change of 500 jobs. That's why some people call this madness going forward, Nick.
Well, it may be rearranging chairs on the Titanic, because when you look at the job growth in this region versus other regions, we're lagging behind. You know, and I think some of the business leaders are starting to realize we need to grow jobs. We need to bring new businesses in from outside or start them from scratch and not just steal from the neighboring communities.
Well, speaking of tax spats, why have plans by Mayor Sly James and top city council members then, Lynn, to turn parts of Swope Park into a state-of-the-art youth soccer complex, just like you see in Johnson County, getting so many people irate? If it's good enough for kids in Overland Park, shouldn't Kansas City kids also get top-notch youth soccer fields for tournaments? Yet plans to use TIF money for this project have incensed, get this, the Raytown School District, Jackson County Executive Mike Sanders, the Mid-Continent Public Library System, mental health advocates, even the blind. Now, how could the prospect of kids playing soccer on nice green turf be wreaking so much havoc?
Well, because it's the way that the financing is contemplated. It would involve expanding a TIF district boundary where there are surplus funds that these taxing districts feel like now they should be receiving. The Raytown School District, Jackson County, the library system, mental health services. They feel like they've waited for this money to be generated. It now should come to benefit their agencies. Soccer fields are great. Kansas City does want to compete with Johnson County. But I think these other agencies feel like their purposes are important too, that the money should be coming to them and that you should not be expanding a TIF district and redirecting the money for something that they feel like should be coming to them.
When people hear the word TIF, it gets very complicated. Who else can weigh up this story for us? What are the context of this story, Dave?
Again, this has been a battle in Kansas City for decades, and largely because Kansas City, in essence, controls the tax increment financing process, in which it sort of makes decisions on behalf of these other jurisdictions who have to sort of like it or lump it. In this case, as Lynn suggests, expanding the district makes it sort of even doubly difficult for some of the other districts to get involved. And it is an example, Nick, of what some people argue is a zero-sum game. Kansas City's gain here is Raytown's loss, is Jackson County's loss. And so ultimately, the entire region does not come out ahead. And I do think, just briefly, there will be pressure in the Missouri legislature, again in the 2013 session, to change the law so that these other jurisdictions have more of a say in how these projects are figured out.
It's partly a challenge because the soccer fields, I believe, would be in the Kansas City School District. And so Raytown's feeling like, why should our tax dollars go to benefit a different school district? You know, the Brookside Soccer Club, City Councilwoman Cindy Serco, a lot of people feel like these soccer fields would be a great asset and they benefit a lot of children. But you have different agencies competing for a small pot of money and it creates a fight.
The number here is important. The Raytown School District has $4.1 million on the line here. That's what they stand to lose if Kansas City outmuscles everybody else and opts to build this soccer complex. That can do a whole lot of good for a school district in Raytown. That's what the superintendent out there is talking about.
And the Mid-Continent Public Library System say this will fund how many books, and it could fund the entire summer reading program.
$200,000 worth of
yes.
books, Nick.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I've got to wonder how much of this is probably a small percentage, but since we took this spectacular belly flop on what was supposed to be the big soccer complex at Bannister Mall, is someone in the city sort of saying, maybe this is a way we can, regain a little bit of face here, although clearly it would not generate the revenue that would have.